Hi everyone and welcome on in. I'm very excited because I managed to get my hands on one of the Traveler's Notebook 20th anniversary customization sets, and it's this lovely little luggage shaped tin here. We're going to go through and open everything up in here and have a good look at what is in this tin. And I also just want to talk about why I like to go for these limited edition items and go out of my way to get them. So I managed to get this tin from the partner shop here in the UK, which is All Things Analog, and I got these lovely stickers when I went down to the shop in Eastbourne to pick this up. I completely missed the pre-sale, which was online. I just completely forgot it was even happening, and by the time I remembered, it was all sold out. For a couple of weeks, I had sort of convinced myself that I didn't need it, and it is £80 here in the UK, which is quite expensive, so I was like, it's fine, I don't need it, I'll save the money. But I knew they were holding some stock back for in-store purchases only. However, the release date was on a Wednesday on July 1st, and I have a full-time job and I couldn't get down to Eastbourne from London. So I decided if it looked like there might still be stock, I would go down first thing on the Saturday morning and hope that they would have it. So from where I live in London, it took me 2 hours to get down to Eastbourne, and at 10 a.m. I walked in the shop and this was the very last tin that they had in stock, and I just felt so lucky. So let's have a look at what is inside. First of all, on the outside you have this amazing design, so it looks like a luggage case, and you have all of these wonderful stickers, luggage stickers on the front. And because it's a 20th anniversary, it's celebrating previous editions, so you have lots of different limited editions that have come and gone. On the sides it has, for all the travellers who have a free spirit, Traveller's Company logo. On the top you have the little locks and this sort of faux leather, you can see it's like a fabric underneath, little handle, and then again the Traveller's Company logo on this side. And on the bottom there is a sticker that tells you all of the contents inside the customization set. Now the reason why I talked myself back into buying this is because I love the brass charms and brass clips, and I don't have any Traveller's Company stamps. So that's really what pushed me back over the edge to wanting to get this. So opening it up, there's a brown paper bag inside. And then in the bottom of the tin, you have this wonderful design. Again, with lots of images and motifs that are used throughout the Traveller's Notebook and Traveller's Company products. So we have the Traveller's Notebook here, and also the very rare white one. We've got the polar bear that comes out at Christmas, you've got the beer. I have this keychain which I've had on my keys for 3 years and it still looks great, so I really recommend those keychains. So this is such a nicely produced little tin, and you can tell that a lot of thought and passion went into making this, just like all of the other Traveller's Notebook products. So let's unwrap what is in this brown bag. I did open it just to check that everything was in there, but I didn't open anything else. So it looks quite small. So it comes in this neat little pile. So first I want to look at the little history guide, because some of the things in here are replicated in the items in the set. So we get this passport size 20th anniversary Traveller's Notebook, the history guide from 2006 to 2026. And there's this nice note saying, thanks to all the travellers who have a free spirit, Traveller's Notebook celebrates its 20th anniversary. Now I'm not going to read everything in here, but if you want to pause it and have a look at it, please feel free to do so. So you have the history from when it was first developed and launched in 2006. And I like that it's in Japanese and English, which is very nice. And then it goes into detail about the very humble beginnings of pop-up shops and this lovely postcard campaign they did in 2007. They released the passport size in 2009 and then started working on the spiral ring notebooks in 2010. The first camel came out in 2011 for the 5th anniversary, and the first Traveller's Factory store opened in Nakameguro, which I have a video up on my channel. I actually have tours of every single factory store up on my channel. If you'd like to check that out, I'll link a playlist. And then I didn't know that they did a collaboration with Merci, which is a French company. I've been to their shop in Paris. And then the Star Ferry Traveller's Notebook collaboration, which I think is highly sought after now. In 2014, the Traveller's Factory Airport store opens, and they also start the Pan Am collection. The Blue Edition came out in 2015. In 2016, you had the 10th anniversary and the mini with the tins, which I have one. I will show you a little bit later. In 2017, you have the Traveller's Factory Station store open and the Olive Edition. In 2018, the Blue joined the permanent lineup, which was great. In 2019, there's more collaborations with the Manual Factory Bear refill and Tokyo Bike. In 2020, I think this is when the Traveller's Factory Kyoto opens, which is a great store to visit. It's very big, a lot bigger than the others. In 2021, they released the official guidebook, which I do have somewhere. I did move recently, so some of these things I can't find yet. And they released the B-sides and rarities, and some of these became permanent refills in the range, which I'm grateful for. In 2022, now 2022 is when I found out about Traveller's Notebook, and unfortunately I missed the release of these 4. I really wanted the records, but it was already sold out by the time I found out about Traveller's Notebook. There were still some diner sets floating around, but I decided not to buy one of those limited edition sets. In 2023, you have a couple more collaborations. I saw the Kanaya Hotel edition while I was in Tokyo, but I decided not to buy it, mostly because I hadn't been to the hotel. And then in 2024, we have the Tokyo edition, which launched this channel. That was my first video, was opening the Tokyo edition. Last year, in 2025, we had Love and Trip, which is one of my favourite covers to use. And then this year, of course, we have the card size, which I have, and this customization set. And at the end, there's this really lovely note about sort of the purpose of Traveller's Notebook, and then just the back page there. So that's a nice little booklet with a lot of good information about the history, and not a comprehensive, but a very good history of limited items in the range. Now, in these little parcels, we have the other bits and pieces. So first I want to start with the stamps. So these are 2 rubber stamps that I can't wait to use. So this one has the Traveller's Notebook with one of the brass pens and the Traveller's Company and Traveller's Notebook logo on it. And that's the back, nice and fresh and unused. And this one has yet another limited item which has come out through the caravans. There hasn't been any announcement yet of the caravan coming to Europe, but this little baby Traveller's Notebook in the black with the little face on it, I really, really want it. And there you can make it say anything you want. So those are the 2 stamps. I like that everything has come in paper as well. And then let's have a look at the brass items. I love collecting the brass charms and the brass clips. They're one of my favourite parts of accessorizing my notebook. So I really didn't want to miss out on getting this charm. Oh. And I thought it would be on a piece of card, but it is just wrapped up in some tissue paper, because usually the charms come like mounted on a piece of card. Ooh. And here it is. So on one side you have the Traveller's Company logo with the world, and on the other side you have the 20th anniversary logo. Now I think this one is quite unique, being a double-sided charm. I don't think any of the others, at least the ones that I have been double-sided. And then in this box here is the brass clip. That's the back. And then it has that 20th anniversary Traveller's Notebook logo on it. I just love these brass clips. I love the weight of them, and I love using them to hold down the pages while I'm writing. And then finally, I like that this envelope is branded as well, so you can use it in your notebook. And this also has for all the travellers who have a free spirit on the back. And these are the stickers. So there are 11 designs, and you can match them up to what is in this little history book as well, because some of them are quite a throwback and then others are new. So this one has the baby notebook and it says, "Hello, I'm a traveller" with the 20, and this one has the gold foiling. And then there's this Traveller's Post Office one. I think this is quite an old design with the little postie there, which is really cute. We've got Traveller's Records, Greatest Hits. There's Traveller's Cafe. This one has gold foiling as well. The Traveller's Diner, Special Menu. This one I really like with the 20th, again in the gold foiling, the Special Flight. Here we have a commemorative ticket, Traveller's Train. Got Traveller's Books as well. This one, which says "We are the Team Travellers." This one, and then two more. We've got the Traveller's Hotel Anniversary Stay, and this lovely blue one, again with the gold foiling, 20th Anniversary of Traveller's Notebook sticker. So this is everything that came in the tin for the anniversary customization set. Having it here in my hands makes me very, very happy, and I am very glad that I did choose to go all the way down to Eastbourne to get it. However, I know it's difficult because not every country has a partner store, and these were released exclusively to partner stores at the moment, as well as to the stores in Japan and the caravans that they've been having in Japan and in Seoul. And so I can see why people would be frustrated, because the partner shops are either doing a pre-sale online or only selling in-store in person. So I can understand why, if you don't have a partner store or access to one in your country, that it can be a bit frustrating that products like this may be unavailable to you. And I know it's endlessly frustrating to see resellers selling these for crazy amounts, and it's because they know that there are some people who just cannot get it any other way, which I think is such a shame. And although I worried about missing out on this, I have seen from not completely reputable, because no one tells you where they got their information from, but there have been whispers online about another release later in the year, which to me is totally feasible, because we saw that with the Tokyo cover, we saw that with Love and Trip, they had an additional release. And actually Traveller's Company announced, for Japan at least, they're having a pre-sale or a pre-order to gauge interest, so they will produce more sets for distribution in October. Although I spent 4 hours to travel to and from Eastbourne, £80 on the set, £25 on my train ticket, I think for me it was worth getting it now. The thought and the effort that's gone into making this is just wonderful. So in terms of buying limited edition items, like I said, I love to buy the limited items. I love to collect all the different things, but only really things that appeal to me. So as I was going through this, I said I didn't get some of the things that I did have available to me, like the Kanaya Hotel cover, the diner cover, but having these items just makes me happy and makes me enjoy using Traveller's Notebook even more. I wanted to show you this little stack I have here. So I have all of the Japan editions, so I've got the Traveller's Train edition here, and you can see just how much I love having the brass accessories, so that's why I couldn't say no to these two brass accessories here. I also do have the little mini 10th anniversary notebook here, which I use as a charm, and I've just popped it onto the card size cover here. And to be honest, I haven't used the card size yet, but I'm really happy to have it, and I feel very fortunate to have been able to get all of these limited items. And some people spend all their money on fancy shoes or on cars or on extravagant holidays. I like to buy Traveller's Notebook, that is my thing. And one other thing I wanted to note is I did say in my video unboxing the card size set that I was disappointed that this was a cardboard box, because the 10th anniversary tin is so lovely and is really great to store things in. So I'm really happy to have the 20th tin to go with my 10th anniversary tin. And although I know I won't ever have a full collection, that isn't the point for me. I just aim to buy any limited edition items that speak to me personally, and that I know I will either use or really appreciate having in the long run. So I think if you are on the fence about buying any kind of limited edition item and you're feeling the pressure of the scarcity, I think just take a moment and think about what would it mean to you to have it. So that's it for our little chat about the limited edition items. I will say as well that while I was at All Things Analog, I filmed a store tour, so look out for that coming soon. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I obviously love Traveler's Notebooks, so there'll be more of that content coming and lots of other stationery. And also let me know in the comments if you've bought the tin, what your favourite thing from the set is. If you don't have it, are you going to get it? Yes, no, why not? I love chatting with you guys in the comments. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.